Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're looking into Mr. Beast
Mm.
and his cryptocurrency activity.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we've got some reports, some articles from Finbold, Crypto.news, even a YouTube video excerpt we're going to be looking at.
Wow, that's a lot of material.
It is, and
It's juicy.
it is. There's some pretty serious accusations flying around about Mr. Beast and his dealings in the cryptocurrency market. So,
Wow. Okay.
so we're here to figure out what is really going on.
So we're going beyond just looking at numbers on a screen. We're talking about influence and how that affects, the crypto market.
Yeah, this is about the power of online influence and how that intersects with the world of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and how volatile it can be.
Extremely volatile, yes.
You've got to be careful out there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
everybody knows Mr. Beast, right? YouTube's biggest star.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy stunts. Insane giveaways.
Seems like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, he does. He seems like a nice guy, but multiple independent investigations are accusing him of using his platform for personal gain in the crypto market.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and we're not talking about he shilled a coin and made a couple bucks. We're talking about insider trading and pump and dump schemes.
Oh, wow. So this is like serious accusations.
Serious accusations.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time Mr. Beast has kind of been in the spotlight for something a little questionable.
Yeah, remember when YouTuber Rosanna Pansino called him out for promoting gambling-like activities
Oh, yeah.
to his young audience?
Oh, yeah.
And the irony is he's admitted to struggling with a gambling addiction himself.
Oh, wow. So
The plot thickens.
it does. So how are these investigators claiming to have uncovered all of Mr. Beast's crypto dealings?
Right.
Isn't that stuff supposed to be anonymous?
Well, it's complicated. So think of it like on-chain data, like it's a public record
Okay.
of every crypto transaction, but it's all out there. You just got to kind of connect the dots.
Oh, okay. And they started with Mr. Beast's main Ethereum wallet address,
Okay.
which is public knowledge because he confirmed it himself when he bought an NFT a while back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they use that as like a starting point and then follow the trail.
Exactly. And through, blockchain analysis, they were able to link over 50 additional wallets to Mr. Beast.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. They found that most of these wallets use the same deposit address on the Gemini exchange. That's a pretty strong indication that all these wallets are connected and potentially controlled by the same person.
Or group.
Right, or group.
Okay, so they've established a link.
Mm-hmm.
But what exactly are they accusing him of doing with all these wallets?
Right, so that's where it gets really interesting. One project that keeps coming up is Superverse, formerly known as Superfarm.
Okay.
The Look.io investigation alleges that Mr. Beast made $11.5 million from this project alone.
Wait, hold on. $11.5 million from one project.
That's what the report's saying. Yeah, they found leaked direct messages that suggest that he invested $100,000 in a pre-sale.
Mm-hmm.
And on-chain data shows his wallets receiving large token allocations, which were then jumped at peak prices
Oh,
for
wow.
massive profit.
So this is starting to sound like a classic pump and dump scheme.
Right.
He gets in early,
Yeah.
hypes it up to his, 90 million subscribers.
100 and whatever million.
Yeah, over 100 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And then sells off when the price skyrockets, and then everyone else is left holding the bag.
That's the gist of it. And what's even more concerning is the allegation that public investors were refunded their initial investments through some kind of loophole,
Wow.
while Mr. Beast and his associates walked away with these huge gains.
So they made money, and then the public investors got their money back. So it's like they didn't lose any money,
Right.
but they didn't make any money.
Right. They're just out there, holding the
Yeah.
tokens.
Wow. So is this a one-off, or are there other projects that this pattern repeats?
Unfortunately, it's not just Superverse. They found similar patterns of investments and profit-taking in projects like Eternity Chain, Polychain Monsters, PMON, and ShopPX.
Okay.
And while Mr. Beast's promotional involvement wasn't always explicit, it seems to have coincided with significant price fluctuations
Interesting.
in these tokens.
So he wasn't necessarily, shouting from the rooftops, buy this token.
Yeah.
But his involvement alone was enough to
Right.
create hype and drive up the price.
And, the investigation claims that his actions, whether intentional or not, may have resulted in, financial harm to fans who invested in these projects based on his association.
Wow, that's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So it's almost like he's using his platform to manipulate the market.
Right.
But is it just him, or are there other people involved?
Well, that's what we'll be exploring in part 2 of this deep dive.
Okay, stay tuned.
The rabbit hole goes even deeper.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in a bit. All right, welcome back.
Yeah.
That last part left my head spinning. We're talking about millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Potential market manipulation, a whole network of wallets.
A lot to unpack.
It is.
We're just getting started.
Where do we even begin?
Right.
To untangle the ethical and legal.
Yeah, the ethical and legal knots in all this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, insider trading immediately comes to mind, right? Yeah. That's a big no-no in traditional financial markets. But with crypto, the rules are still kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
The big question is, did MrBeast have access to information that wasn't public, and did he use it to make a profit?
From what we've seen in these reports, it sure seems like he and his crew were consistently investing in these projects right before they blew up in value.
Right.
It's hard to believe that's just luck.
Yeah. And the Luck.io investigation points to several instances where MrBeast was involved with projects before they were widely known.
Yeah.
Possibly through his connections with other big YouTubers like KSI and Alex Becker.
Right.
Remember those leaked DMs about the Superverse presale investment?
Yeah, and then his wallets were dumping those tokens right at the peak price.
Not a good look.
Not a good look.
It paints a picture of someone using inside knowledge to their advantage.
Yeah.
Now, whether that meets the legal definition of insider trading in the crypto world, well, that's something for lawyers and regulators to figure out.
Yeah, that's a whole other...
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah. But even if it's not technically illegal, it still feels wrong.
Right.
Especially when you consider, how many young, impressionable fans he has that might not really grasp the risks involved in crypto.
You're hitting on a really crucial point, the responsibility of influencers.
Yeah.
They have enormous platforms and dedicated followers, so their actions carry a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Even if MrBeast didn't directly tell his fans to buy certain tokens, just being associated with a project can feel like an endorsement.
It's that halo effect, right?
Totally.
He's famous, so people trust him, maybe even believe these projects are safe bets.
Right.
But we know that the crypto market is super volatile.
Oh, yeah.
And these tokens often crash hard after the initial buzz dies down.
That's the nature of the beast.
Exactly. So did MrBeast ever disclose his financial involvement in these projects?
Right. Did he clearly communicate the risks to his viewers?
Yeah. From what we've read, his involvement wasn't always out in the open.
Yeah.
Remember the Refinable case?
Oh, yeah.
He was featured on their website, but there was no public acknowledgement of any financial ties.
Yeah, that lack of transparency is a problem.
It is.
It makes it seem like he was downplaying his involvement, maybe to avoid scrutiny.
Right. But does he even have to disclose?
Right.
Are there rules about influencer marketing in the crypto space?
That's the wild part. It's a huge gray area.
Oh, really?
The rules for crypto are still being written.
Wow.
And the regulations around influencer marketing are even murkier.
Interesting.
Some people think influencers should be held to the same standards as financial advisors.
Yeah.
Like having to disclose any conflicts of interest.
Yeah, like a fiduciary responsibility or something.
Right, exactly. But others say as long as they aren't giving explicit financial advice, they shouldn't be subject to those rules. It's a debate that's only going to get louder as more and more influencers jump into the crypto world.
I bet.
And that's why this whole MrBeast situation is so important.
Yeah.
It's shining a giant spotlight on this ethical and legal minefield that is influencer marketing in this brand new industry.
It's like a wake-up call not just for influencers.
Yeah.
But for their audiences, too.
Absolutely.
Be careful who you trust.
Right. And in part 3, let's look at some specific examples and really see how this plays out.
Yeah.
In the real world.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. We've been digging into these accusations against MrBeast, trying to wrap our heads around the whole thing.
Yeah.
Ethics, the legality of it all.
Right.
But I think it's time to get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
And really see how all of this plays out in the real world.
Absolutely. Specific examples help make these abstract concepts hit home. So let's revisit some of those projects highlighted in the Look.io investigation.
Okay, so let's start with Superverse.
Okay.
This is the one where MrBeast allegedly made the most money.
Right.
It was marketed as this revolutionary NFT marketplace and gaming platform.
Yeah.
But from what I've read, it never really lived up to the hype.
Right. And yet On-chain data suggests that MrBeast and his associates managed to sell their tokens at inflated prices, walking away with millions in profit.
Wow.
Meanwhile, a lot of regular investors who bought in later were left holding tokens that were basically worthless after the price crashed.
Classic pump and dump.
Yeah, it really does seem that way.
Makes you wonder if Mr. Beast and his crew were intentionally misleading their followers.
Right, and even if they didn't outright promise people they'd make money, the way they promoted the project could have created some really unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, I mean, are we really supposed to believe that, like, Mr. Beast was going to, like, revolutionize the NFT space?
Yeah, and let's not forget those allegations about those early investors being, like, selectively refunded.
Yeah.
That just adds another layer of ethical complexity to the whole situation.
Yeah, it's like some people were shielded from the losses,
Right.
while others were left holding the bag.
Exactly.
Then there's the case of Eternity Chain,
Right.
which was supposed to revolutionize the NFT space as well.
Yeah, another one.
It seems like every week there's a project that's going to revolutionize the NFT space.
It's the next big thing.
Yeah.
It's always the next big thing.
But Mr. Beast publicly interacted with them on Twitter.
Okay.
Was even featured on their website.
Yeah, and once again, the on-chain analysis shows this pattern of MrBeast receiving a big chunk of tokens and then selling them off when the price was high, potentially profiting at the expense of, those who bought in later.
It's starting to feel like a recurring theme here.
It is.
Hard not to see it as a deliberate strategy.
It's tough to say for sure without, being inside MrBeast's head, but the pattern is certainly there.
Yeah.
And especially when you see other influencers like KSI and Alex Becker involved in many of these same projects.
Right.
It suggests a coordinated effort to leverage their combined reach and influence for maximum profit.
It's interesting. There were a couple projects, Play Metagods and Meta Wars, I'm thinking of, where Mr. Beast actually held onto his tokens.
Oh, really?
Even though the price tanked.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, so maybe he genuinely believed in those projects.
Maybe.
Or maybe there were other factors at play that we just don't know about.
Right. Who knows?
Either way, the fact remains those tokens lost a lot of value.
Yeah.
And anyone who invested based on Mr. Beast's association probably got burned pretty bad.
Right. It's a stark reminder that you can't just blindly follow influencer endorsements.
Yeah.
No matter how much you admire someone, the crypto market is a roller coaster.
It is.
And even projects that look promising can just go belly up.
It's a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have learned it the hard way.
Unfortunately so.
So what's the takeaway here?
Right after all this digging, what does this investigation really tell us?
Yeah, what have we learned?
Well, I think it exposes the potential dark side of influencer marketing.
Yeah.
It highlights the power that these personalities have and the responsibility that comes with that power.
For sure.
There are a lot of ethical and legal gray areas in this space, and it's clear that the current system isn't always protecting people.
So it's like buyer beware.
Absolutely. You do your own research.
Yeah.
Understand the risks, and don't let blind trust lead you to financial ruin.
Yeah, great advice. And thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
A lot to unpack with this one.
Yeah, it really is.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into something crazy.
Looking forward to it.